middle. Not only had she lost her parents and her baby sister, but she also knew she had lost Fiona. She closed her small hand around the only thing she had left of her family, the silver cross that hung beneath her gown. When she heard footfalls, she didn't bother to look up. Death would be welcome. She had failed her da and failed in her promise to protect her sisters with her own life. Yet it wasn't a blade, but strong arms that lifted her into a safe embrace. "Shh, little one," the deep voice whispered in her ear. "You are safe now." She tried to look at her saviour through her tears, but could only see eyes such a bright blue they glowed in the darkness. His voice soothed her. With a nod, she leaned her head against his shoulder. The soft and unfamiliar texture of his vest rested against her cheek. "Where are you taking me?" she finally asked, as he hurried down the hallway. "To your destiny." When they emerged from the secret door that a short while ago she had led Fiona through, she found another man waiting for them. She recognised him instantly. He was Frang, a druid high priest that had visited her parents often. "I've come to take you home," Frang said. "My home is here." "Not any more, lass." "I have to find Fiona," she said, and tried to wiggle out of her saviour's arms. "Nay, little one," his deep calming voice said near her ear. Frang touched her arm. "Stay, Moira. It will do you no good to go looking for Fiona. She is safe with Cormac MacDougall." "Gone," she whispered, though she knew it to be true. "She cannot be gone. I promised her I would come back." "'Tisn't safe," Frang said, but he was speaking to her saviour. "We must get her to the Druid's Glen immediately." "I've lost everyone," she said, and let the tears fall again. She didn't struggle when her saviour held her a little tighter, as if giving her his strength. She welcomed his warmth and power, for she had neither at the moment, and wondered if she ever would. Chapter 1. Western Highlands, August 1625. "Now that's a man I'd lay claim to." Moira jerked her head up from examining an apple, but the old crone who she thought had spoken began to mumble to herself as she set out more fruit from beneath tables. Moira looked around the open marketplace to find herself alone, except for the crone. She looked at the old woman once more, but the crone went about stacking fruit and waving to people as they passed in front of her wobbly shop. Moira shook her head and went back to her examination of the fruit. After many weeks of travel, she and Dartayous had finally arrived at the small fishing town that belonged to the MacLeods. They were on the last stage of their journey, or at least she hoped that was the case. "Aye, a man like him could warm even these old bones." This time, when Moira raised her eyes, the woman stared at her. Gone was the appearance of a doddering old woman, and in her place stood one with wise brown eyes. She followed the crone's gaze to Dartayous. Moira had been ignoring her travelling companion for weeks, but witnessing him smiling and talking to a village girl did little to ease her. His rugged, almost harsh face was transformed with that smile. His wide, thin lips were actually tilted up in a wide grin, showing white, even teeth. "Is he yours?" She turned back to the crone. "Nay." "I would say he was," the crone said, and reached out gnarled fingers to touch Moira's hand. "I spotted the two of ye as ye entered the village. He watches ye like ye belong to him." "You are mistaken." Yet her eyes sought out Dartayous again. His shoulder-length wavy brown hair blew gently in the sea wind. "He is my guide, nothing more," she replied, and went back to examining the apple. "'Tis not good to lie to oneself. Ye have done it far too long." Moira narrowed her eyes at the woman. There were few people